Howdy, folks. Howdy, folks. Welcome to the January 1st meeting for 2022 of Our Revolution, Harris County. We are so glad you're here. We will get started in just a few minutes as we allow everyone to filter in. We've got a pretty good program for you today. The very large portion of the meeting is going to be focusing on the candidate renewals. So these are folks that have previously been awarded an endorsement of Our Revolution Harris County, and we are mostly with the renewal of those candidates who have previously been endorsed. So with that, in just a few minutes, as we get folks entered and make sure that we've like pop. Heard a pop in about 30 seconds. We'll get rolling probably about 5 minutes past the hour.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Chuck.
Howdy, howdy.
How's that hair going, Chuck?
Still here for now. We'll see how long it sticks around. I'm probably gonna have to cut it at some point for the campaign because I got to know what it's like, but we'll see.
Don't do it. I didn't.
Yes, please definitely say howdy in the chat, where you're from, which precinct, if you know that. And I'm going to a moment of personal privilege while we're waiting for folks to get in and remind folks that we do have primaries coming up right around the corner. And thanks to the new legislation, there are quite a few folks who have expressed lack of interest in serving under the new laws, so there will likely be a shortage of qualified election clerks. So please, please, please encourage everyone you know to serve in the upcoming election if they are so inclined and available and willing to do so. It can be hard work, but it is incredibly rewarding, and it is absolutely the foundation of democracy. There is nothing more important than voting, unless you want to say voting informed. That is a little bit more important. But we definitely want to see folks voting. We want to see the polls fully staffed so that we can take care of the voters and eliminate the long line complaints and help support our elections team. We are currently sitting, and just as a FYI, another personal point, I've already had the power blink out on me twice today. So if that happens, rest assured I will do my best to get back online as soon as possible, but ERCOT, so we'll see what happens. Again, please say howdy in the chat, drop your links, drop your favorite social media files or connections to your social media. Let folks know that you're running. We will have an opportunity for a few candidates to talk. But like I said, the vast majority of the meeting today will be candidate endorsement renewals. Folks who have previously earned the coveted Our Revolution Harris County endorsement and are now up for renewal of those endorsements. We've gone through and taking a look at them behind the scenes for the folks that are on the endorsement committee. And I'm going to also throw this out for folks who are not on the endorsement committee. Please consider doing so next time. It is quite a bit of work, and we're doing our best to serve up an awesome list of folks that we believe are really good candidates, but we need some help. We have received not quite 100, but getting close to it if you include the renewals. So there are a whole bunch of candidate questionnaires to go over, to look over, to review, to discuss, to haggle, and we definitely could use your help for the next go round. So please consider doing that. Okay, we have got 2:05 p.m. and the influx has slowed a bit. We are sitting at a nice 55 right now. That's pretty awesome. So thanks for being here. So to get things kicked off, John Floyd is unfortunately, I believe, not with us today. I myself, Chuck Cruz, the other members of the steering committee, Latonya Whittington, Jeremy Scheid, and of course, Ruth, our newest member of the steering committee.
Thank you very much for pointing that out, Chuck. Yes, and my role today is to recite for you the Our Revolution Harris County mission. We are working in the furtherance of economic, political, social, racial, and environmental justice through education, direct action, and political engagement. Thanks, Chuck, for the thumbs up. Our agenda today is we'll begin with a mini celebration of an election victory that happened since our last meeting for an endorsed candidate. We will then move directly to the renewal candidate forum. As Chuck mentioned earlier, this is today just for those candidates who were endorsed in a prior election by Our Revolution Harris County, and they are up for and interested in receiving a renewal of that endorsement for their current primary race. Following the opportunity for those candidates to present, we will provide an opportunity for the members of Our Revolution Harris County to ask questions of each or all of those renewal candidates. And then we'll discuss how we will vote on whether or not to renew those endorsements. And the last item on our agenda today, as always, is a list of the upcoming events that you might want to participate in. So thank you, and let's move to the first item on the agenda.
Hi, everybody. I think this is my slide. This is Scott Pulis. I'm the treasurer for Our Revolution Harris County. So as of the end of last month, so the end of December, we had $901.80 in the bank. So big thank you to the donors that we had come in the last month, which is Chuck, Rafi, myself, John Floyd, Dylan Osborne, Clayton Tucker, Charles Cruz, Rafi again, Maria Calzada, Paul Calzada, Joy Davis, and Jeremy Scheid. So thanks to our donors this month. We're building up a little bit of cash in the bank. That is awesome. We're going to show you the link shortly on how you can donate. And we sure do appreciate those donations, especially when you make it monthly. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to do this too.
If you want to go ahead, take over it, Treasurer.
Yeah, no problem. So if you would like to donate, just pull out your camera, point it at the screen. The QR code on the left will go to the national Our Revolution. So that is, the countrywide that sends emails on a regular basis about what they're doing on a national front. If you would like to donate directly to our chapter, directly to what we're doing here in Harris County, including these endorsements that we're doing right now, that is the QR code on the right. And when you get to be a member, you get to vote on endorsements. So there's a lot of perks that go with that.
Also, if you're having trouble using the QR code, we also put the links in the chat, so you can click on those links. Starting off today, we wanted to congratulate on one of our endorsed candidates for the HISD school board race, Elizabeth Santos. Not only was this a victory, but if you can take a look at the vote numbers towards the bottom, you can see how close of a race this was. This is just another example to show you, one, how important local elections are, and two, how important it is to get out there to vote in runoff elections. Looking at the numbers, she won by barely 50 votes, very close race. But we're very happy for Elizabeth. We know she's going to continue doing progressive things on the HISD school board. So thank you for your work, Elizabeth, and congratulations. Now it's to the meat and potatoes of the meeting. We wanted to do a separate endorsement form for our previously endorsed candidates. So those of you who are here today who are seeking our endorsement for the first time, don't worry, you'll get your chance. We're still reviewing those questionnaires, and then we will contact you in about in less than a week, or about a week, to invite you, whether you invited to our February form or not. February will be our new applicants. So today we wanted to focus and continue the progressive work of all of our endorsed candidates. We will allow each candidate to speak. We will give each candidate 2 minutes to speak. So candidates, please be aware of the time. As you can see, we have quite a few people we want to get through. We want to make sure everyone says what they want to say. And during your speech, we would like to know some information. First of all, we would like to know, in your own words, to please share your accomplishments while you're in office that promoted progressive values. And how do you plan to support progressive policies once you're reelected? So even though we are asking for renewals, we are still asking for all of our candidates to fight for progressive values at every level, at every office, because that's how we make real change, especially here in Harris County. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Latanya, who will be introducing each of the candidates. Once you hear your name called, you have the floor. Latanya, you can take over from here.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and being here today. You took your time to come on a Saturday, and that's amazing. So we won't take too much time. I want to get right to it. You'll have 2 minutes to speak, as Jeremy said. And we're going to have Scott. Are you ready to do the green and the red so they know when to stop and when to go and stop?
I am.
see.
So just keep an eye on my Hollywood square. And when it turns yellow, you'll have 30 seconds left. When it turns red, that's time to stop. Thanks.
All right, so you got the deal. All right, guys. So first, we're starting out with our county judge, Lena Hildaldo, but she is not here today, so we have a representative for her. Are you here? You have your 2 minutes. You can begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Geldof. I'm the campaign manager for Judge Lina Hidalgo. Sorry that she wasn't able to be here today. The judge has a schedule that pulls her in all kinds of directions, but I know that she wanted me to be here because she really appreciated our revolution support last time. In terms of her accomplishments that really highlight her progressive values and what she's done for the county, I would say first and foremost is the establishment of an equity framework to determine the order in which flood bond projects are completed. The county is now using the CDC's Social Vulnerability Index to prioritize flooding projects, whereas previously under previous administrations, it was very much determined by the priorities of developers and political insiders and people that didn't always have the interests of the community at heart. In his second term, that's something the judge is really going to continue to prioritize. Not all of the money that the county has been promised to deal with flooding has materialized. A lot of it has been held up by the state government, and that's something that is always going to be a top priority. In terms of other progressive priorities that I know the judge is really proud of, the Harris County has created what I believe, although I might be a little mistaken, but I believe is the first essential workers board for any county in the country. What that means is that we have a board in Harris County now that directly allows essential workers to have input onto the health and safety recommendations and regulations that the judge and public health authorities are putting out during COVID. The judge also was able to pass a new set of workplace policies for Harris County employees, which include 12 weeks of paid parental leave. It includes additional sick leave for dependents. It includes a 15-hour minimum wage. It includes designated lactation rooms in county buildings. And Harris County has also created Texas's first county-level immigrant legal service fund, $2.5 million to help to help immigrants who might not have access to legal services get kind of fair representation. And I know that, the county judge's office has really changed under her leadership, and she's really using it as a tool to not just, in previous administrations, the budgeting process was a lot of slap 2% on everything for inflation. Under Lina Hidalgo, the budget is becoming much more a reflection of what are her priorities and my priorities, and I believe the progressive priorities of everyone here. So I really appreciate giving me the opportunity to
Thank you.
speak. And I'm sorry
Thanks,
again, she
Jonathan.
can't continue
Thank
that.
you so much. Okay, you're at your 2 minutes. All right, so the next person we have is Civil Court at Law number 2, Judge Jim Kovach. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Latanya. Thank you, Our Revolution. I appreciate your endorsement back in 2018, and I feel like I've earned to the re-endorsement again, because I want to tell you some of the great things we've done in the County Civil Courts at Law. Together with my colleagues, there's 4 of us in the County Civil Courts at Law, and we handle all the appeals from Justice of the Peace Court. So that means the 4 of us each handle basically 1/4 of all evictions in Harris County. What we've done is taken a progressive approach by allowing South Texas College of Law and other nonprofit agencies to come to the courthouse. Before the pandemic, we allowed them to come to the courthouse and be out in our courtroom. And when we checked in people who were being sued for eviction for non-payment of rent, our clerks would refer them and ask them if they would like to go talk to the gentlemen or women in back who were attorneys that could screen them to see if they could get assistance right there on the spot. Once the pandemic hit, it changed everything, and Houston Volunteer Lawyers became an integral part of the system, and we had a wonderful work relationship with them that we'd actually send them our eviction docket for the following week so that they could pre-screen people and try to get them pre-screened so that they could help them get rental assistance before they even showed up in court. I did not reset. Every time the moratorium was reset, I did not reset my cases. I waited and had the folks show up because I wanted to make sure that every single tenant knew about the rental assistance programs. And I'm really proud of the fact that I know that over $1 million and probably close to $2 million was paid to landlords on behalf of tenants in my court, because I took the time to make sure that they worked together and talk to the landlord about the situation and make sure that the tenant knew how to apply. The other thing that we did is that I think something going forward that I want to see is assistance of counsel for tenants. I think that we need to stop evictions at the JP level. The sooner we catch them and get them assistance at the JP level, the better off they are, because by the time they come up to my court, they're already several months behind. But that's something, assistance of counsel is something I think is critical for those folks. The other thing that we've done is we just put in the budget that Judge Audrey Lawton Evans will be presenting this week.
Okay, wrap up, Judge, for me, please.
Is interpreters. We want full-time interpreters. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, and we appreciate what you do for the community. Okay, next we have Criminal Court at Law 5, David Fleischer. Are you here?
I am here and I'm ready to go.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
You know, the theme is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's the theme for what I'm going to, my little speech right now. And we really, I am part of one of 15 county criminal court at law judges that were elected to the bench last go around. And we've really worked hard and to make historic changes in the county court system. And I'm asking for your support to be reelected so we can continue the fabulous programs that we've done. Number one, what we did, and you're going to hear it from all the county criminal court at law judges. So, I'm going to give it a brief rundown now. The first thing we did was we completely redid bail reform. Okay, we've done that, and which presumptively lets people out to end this mass incarceration. Okay, we've done that, and of course there are exceptions, but this is one of the many programs that we've done. Number two, because I have only 2 minutes, I'm going to kind of take it kind of fast. We instituted a MAC, the Managed Assigned Counsel Program. What that does is that takes our ability to appoint away and gives it to an independent third party. We created this program because we thought it was fair, and it essentially takes power away from us and allows that other party to equitably assign lawyers. The other thing that we've done is we created an open hours court that we as judges donate our time to people who have missed court, have an arrest warrant, that they could come on a particular day, on virtually any day, they can come and have their cases either reset to a different day. What we're trying to do is get more access to the criminal justice system. That's what we are doing. And the reason I ran was because I've been in practice for 18 years. I'm not this type of person where I'm going to start doing it now. I think it's cool. I have dealt with uncompassionate and judges that didn't have empathy. And I just
thank you, Judge. Can you wrap it up, please?
Okay, I'm David Fleischer, running for re-election for County Criminal Court at Law number 5. We do have another fabulous program I didn't get to tell you. I hope that the other judges will tell you as well, but please, I hope that
Okay.
you'll keep us. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much for your time and what you've done. The next person we have is Criminal Court at Law A, Judge Franklin Bynum. It's your turn.
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Hi.
All right. Well, 2 minutes. So I'm really grateful to go after my friend and hallmate, David Fleischer. And I want to start off by thanking OR for inviting me and telling you that actually being in St. Stephen's, 4 years ago now, I guess, was one of the fondest memories of campaigning the first time around. Just that was such a great group and a great afternoon. And I think of that day often. And so it's good to be here. I'm going to sum it up real quick. We came into a historically oppressive system and worked, and that was still reeling from Hurricane Harvey. We moved into, we were roommates at the beginning. We didn't have courts. We've moved courts 3 times. So in addition to the high level stuff like bail reform, we've done the nuts and bolts stuff like making the physical plants of the courts work again, because they were not working when we came in. And as far as bail reform, there's a huge disinformation machine out there churning away about it. And nobody here should fall for any of it, except for the DA office primary challengers who are some of the agents of it. But let me tell you what we did with bail reform. According to the Federal Monitor, we eliminated racial disparity in pretrial release for misdemeanors in Harris County. Let me say that again. We eliminated racial disparity in a system that for generations had been racially discriminatory as its purpose. And in 3 years, we turned it around. And so I'm so proud of me and my colleagues for standing strong against the DA's office and these primary challengers that are showing up, who want to do what Democrats have always done. They want to say they want to do the thing, but they don't want to do the thing. Well, we came in and we did the thing. And I'm really proud of us. We did do the managed assigned counsel program. And I'm trying to think of the other program that Judge Fleischer wanted me to talk about, but I'm drawing a blank, but I'm stopping now. Love y'all. Take care. Please vote for me, Franklin Bynum.
Cite and release.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Cite and release. Somebody else talked about I did cite and release, but that is the battle to come, is cite and release, is reducing arrests, but the police won't use it. And the DA is a big opponent to it. So we'll talk about it.
Well, thank you so much for your time and effort, and we appreciate you. The next we have Criminal Court at Law 9. Toria, Finch, it's your turn to speak.
Good evening, Our Revolution. My name is Judge Toria Finch. I'm going to go as fast as I can with this 2 minutes span of time. I am the presiding judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 9, and I am fortunate to be the presiding judge for all 16, thanks to the votes and support of my 16 colleagues. To kind of continue with the theme of what Judge Fleischer was saying, is that you all got it right in 2018. My accomplishments are the accomplishments of all of the county criminal court judges that are present here and those that are not present on this screen at this time. Dealing with bail reform, Judge Bynum is right. We have reduced the racial disparities in pretrial detention decisions almost non-existent. Additionally, recidivism has not increased because of bail reform. Additionally, pretrial detentions have decreased, and we've saved the county quite a bit of money, because when we look at jail population, at the present time, we have 8,725 individuals in jail, and county criminal court misdemeanor cases are less than 10% of that population. Why? Because of bail reform. Why? Because of cite and release, which is what Judge Bynum was talking about. Instead of taking nonviolent offenders and processing them and putting them in jail and risking their jobs, their families, their livelihoods, we give officers an option to cite them and release them like you would with traffic court. We did the managed assigned counsel program that removed the inherent bias between a judge selecting who should represent the defendant when they stand before them. I don't select the prosecutor. I should not select the defendant. We also have the program called Open Hours Court. So if you miss court, instead of issuing a warrant, we're saying, hey, don't run from justice, come to justice. This is a progressive group. You all, I'll say hired, which you did, elected progressive judges, and I'm asking for your continued support. Again, we're looking at continued options for restorative justice. We need more time to do more things. Harris County is not finished, but we have the judges in place to get it done. And I'm asking for your renewed endorsement and for that of my colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Judge, for what you do for the community. We appreciate you. Next, we have Judge Raul Rodriguez. It is your turn to speak.
Thank you, Latanya. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raul Rodriguez. I am the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 13. I am glad to be here this afternoon. I do want to thank Our Revolution for having this forum. I did get endorsed by this great organization in 2018. I'm very proud of that. I want to echo the sentiments that my previous colleagues have said already in terms of what progressive things that we've done. The first thing that we did as soon as we got elected, first of all, we went ahead and had 15 Republican judges replaced in 2018 by the 15 Democratic judges that were voted into office in 2018. And during the time that the Republicans were in office prior to 2018, there was this lawsuit in federal court regarding bail reform that the Republican judges were fighting. As soon as we took office and we became elected, we went ahead and settled that lawsuit within months, saving the county millions of dollars. And as a part of that settlement, we also created what we have now, what we use as the judges in County Criminal Court at Law, Rule number 9, that specifically deals with how do we take the individuals that were arrested on nonviolent offenses released from jail on pretrial bonds. That was very important, thus reducing the number of people that are incarcerated in our jail. Like Judge Finch said, we have less than 10% of the individuals that are charged in Harris County Criminal Courts of Law in custody. Just a couple of things that I want to also say. I use Zoom daily on a daily basis because of the pandemic. Anybody can stream my dockets at any time. I'm also one of the judges that is presiding judge of sober court, which deals with alcohol abuse. And I'm very proud of the fact that I am. So my name is Raul Rodriguez. I am asking for your vote and your support in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And next we have Tonya Jones, Criminal Court at Law 15.
All right, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Our Revolution, for your support in my previous election and for giving me this opportunity to speak with you this evening. I will not belabor the points of my colleagues. Everything that they have stated, you will continue to hear because that is the work that we have done. What I love and appreciate about being a part of this group is that there are no big eyes or little U's. We all came in collectively with the mindset that we wanted to make a change. And we have done that. We've done the job that you elected us to do. As a county criminal court judge, I am also the local administrative judge responsible for primarily addressing case backlog and management in our county. And I am elated to say that the county criminal courts at law are leading our state in jury trials. So we have found ways to continue to be progressive and answer the needs of our county during this time. We make sure that individuals have access to courts in jury trials and they get access to having their day in court. And we're able to move cases efficiently. And that is something that is very important. The county criminal courts at law did create 2 emergency response dockets. These are courts that are set up primarily for jury trials so that individuals have the opportunity to have their day in court. We also work with fellows from the Harvard Kennedy School to address routinely pretrial devices and conditions. When there are people that are in compliance with their conditions and have been, they are able to step down that ladder and so that supervision becomes less and less restrictive or is removed totally if the individual does not need it. You cannot get any more progressive than the group of judges that you have already elected. And when I tell you it's a task that we're up for, and we've shown you that we're up for the task. And I think that we deserve the opportunity to continue to improve upon the good work that we've started in the county. And there's much, much more ahead. So I'm humbly asking for your support, not only for me in this election, but also to consider really looking at and evaluating what we have done and in our plans for the future. So again, I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for you to look at what your judges have done at the county criminal courts and allow us to continue continue to do this work. It is not something that one person can do individually. It is the collective, and you have that in each of us. So thank you again for this opportunity and for your support.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate you. Next, we have District Court 55, Latasha Lewis Payne. Latasha. Okay. Well, if she is not here, we're gonna move on to.
But Tonya, may I interrupt and just say one thing? I'm Judge Latasha Lewis Payne, I guess, isn't here, but we should all be
Okay.
real proud of the fact that she's our first Black female
Okay.
administrative judge over all the district courts. She was just elected this term, and so it's a big kudo to her. I don't know why she's not here or what's up, but we're all real proud of the fact that we just broke another barrier and ceiling by doing that.
Well, that was wonderful for you to speak for her. Thank you so much, Judge. Okay. Well, let's see. Next, we have District Court 180, Judge Dasean Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dasean Jones, Judge of the 180th Criminal Court. First of all, thank you, Our Revolution, for your past endorsement. It was greatly appreciated. And what I've done since that time is one of the main things that I focused on when I started was working with my CLO. As a child, I was often told that probation and parole can often be a trap. And some of the traps that are there, sometimes people, they have nonviolent cases that you'll see from years before you took the bench. They're still on probation for like 5-6 years. They've been doing everything right, but they still have to pay these fees. They still have to go see people. It's still an inconvenience to their schedules. So what I was doing there was trying to get as many people early terminated as possible, or coming down on the conditions, because as we all know, those conditions can be very burdensome. That's one thing that we did. Also, when we were looking in the Code of Criminal Procedure, I noticed that we weren't applying a lot of courses and training. If people do courses and training, associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, as they're moving through their lives, that time is supposed to be applied or can be applied to reduce the time that they're on probation. So we specifically got with the probation department through my CLO to create a form so the people out in the regions can capture that information and then give that time back to those people to get them off probation earlier. Because again, when I was growing up, we were always told probation could be a trap. Something I've done recently, started working with the Social Justice Rising Youth Fellowship Program. That just started this month. It's under the Collective Action for Youth program. What they do there is they take young students, they come by the court, and they get to learn about what's going on in the criminal justice system, what's going on in law enforcement, trying to expose them and give them opportunity to know the positive ways that you can interact with the community through criminal justice, besides, the arrest and things that they're normally dealing with. And then one thing that I've taken a lot of heat for is bonds, but I still stand upon the fact that I follow the law, I follow the Constitution, and I think, as we all know, people are dying in jail, and jail is not a safe haven. It's not a safe place. So we should do what we can anytime we can to try to remove people from the Harris County Jail when it can be done in a safe manner. Beyond that, I don't want to belabor anything, but I thank you, Dasean Jones, for the 180th. Thank you, Our Revolution, for this forum. And I look forward to speaking with you guys when Omicron and all these other things clear up a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for respecting our time. Next, we have District Court 185, Jason Luong.
Good afternoon, Our Revolution. Thank you for having me. I'm your incumbent judge of the 185th District Court. Let me tell you thank you to the county court judges who've really well explained the reforms we've had to do since 2018 and when we took office in 2019. I've got a primary opponent, and I know my primary opponent has attacked me personally about how she believes I run my court. Let me tell you, the one thing, this disinformation we talk about, is that when I took office, we didn't have a courtroom. I had to share a courtroom with a civil court judge, and even then, we shared it with another criminal court judge. We powered through that. We had trials. In fact, I had the last trial in Harris County before COVID shut everything down. It was a solicitation of capital murder case. Since that time period, I'm on the committee that helps select NRG and create that system in which we now are able to have jury trials. I think before Christmas, in the past month and a half, we had 3 jury trials in our courtroom. We're moving things. As to reform, this year, my colleagues selected me to become the chairman of the Bail Bonds Committee. as well as the presiding judge of Veterans Court. As your bail bond committee judge, we've done progressive reforms, including making sure that bond violation reports went to the parties. For the longest time, it only go to the judge. And one of the big secrets about the criminal justice system, how they kept people churned through the system, is that judges would revoke people's bonds without a hearing. I've made sure that all the judges and all the courts have the bond violation report sent to the prosecutors as well as the defense counsel, so that there's not unilateral action taken to revoke people's bonds without notice to all the attorneys and the parties involved. That's a big step toward the reform we've had. In addition to this regular caseload that I have, I'm also the presiding judge of Felony Veterans Court. This is one of the most progressive programs in our county, as long as our specialty courts. We make sure that veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, addiction issues relating to their service, rather than putting them into prison, we divert them to resources, connect them to the VA. We're talking about the most elite people our country's ever trained, and we recognize that they're not going to be perfect on bond or in their rehabilitation. We make sure we provide the resources for them. I'm happy to have received your endorsement in 2014 and 2018. I hope to earn your endorsement again this time around. As a side note, in addition to, I think my qualifications as outstanding judge, thank you. I'm your only Asian American criminal court judge in Harris County. That's a pretty progressive issue for all of us to have. Thank you very much. I'm Judge Jason Lung of the 185th District Court.
Thank you so very much, and we appreciate your work. Next, should I just say the pie guy? I think we all know who that is. We have District Court 189, Judge Scott Dillinger.
Thank you very much. I am Scott Dollinger. My friends call me Dolly. Also the pie guy, because I make pies for my juries to thank them for their service. Plus it helps bring people together. And a civil judge. The lay of the land is Harris County has 61 district judges, 24 civil, 23 criminal, 11 family, and 3 juvenile. I'm part of the civil 10 who were up this cycle. 2 of us have primary opponents. That's Judge Deidre Davis and me, Judge Scott Dolly Dollinger. Progressive things that have happened. Started marrying same-sex couples, consistently ruled fairly in Chapter 33 proceedings where underage women needed the right to terminate pregnancies, implemented implicit bias training, as well as read implicit bias instructions to every jury panel. My staff, it consists of 3 African-American women and white court reporter. Court reporters, I was part of the group to help them increase their pay. We tripled the number of trials that went on. My predecessor tried about 10 a year. I tried almost 26 my first year. I don't let in criminal records very often. You have to really show that there's a close relationship between the past criminal record, like let's say shoplifting and a car wreck. Well, there's no relationship to that, and so I exclude that. We've adapted to COVID. Last is words from a woman. She reads, "Words cannot sufficiently express how kind, empathetic, and encouraged I was at the conclusion of our meeting today." And she goes on, just saying that she was so happy that I was her judge because I treated her like a human being, right? That's what it's all about. And I am so thrilled to have had the opportunity to serve y'all over the 3 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Judge. We appreciate what you do. Next, we have District Court 209, Judge Brian Warner.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Don't even worry about it. My name is Brian Warren. I was lucky enough to have your endorsement last time. And I'm very, very lucky to work with so many progressive colleagues that were elected with me back in 2018. What we've done as a group is we've passed bond reform where we are now not jailing felony defendants who cannot afford to pay on low-level offenses. Violent offenses are excluded from that, but in felony, it's a lot different than misdemeanor. But we have passed that. We have a general order bond where those individuals who are arrested for low-level offenses are not detained because they cannot pay. Additionally, I am one of 2 felony judges, and there are others who joined as well, who were not defendants in the federal bail lawsuit against the district courts, but were actually plaintiffs, where we joined the plaintiffs and we unsuccessfully so far, but have sought to and continue to fight to end wealth-based detention Also, what I've done is I've been the first felony judge who's instituted a scheduling order. I know Judge Jones and Judge Long have also done that as well, that we've done scheduling orders where defendants are not coming to court every 30 days because we haven't seen them in 30 days. They're coming for specific reasons. And what that means is that if you own your own business and you employ people and you're independently wealthy, you can take off whenever you want. But if you are a hard working class citizen of our county, it's hard to take off every month when nothing is happening in your court. So we're waiving appearances. We're not causing people to come to court all the time. We're making smart decisions about when people are doing that. And I will say this to the group of the judges that I am lucky enough to serve with, is that the recidivism rate has been cut in half since we've been elected. We are making smarter decisions about who is going to be detained and who is not going to be detained. That is safer for our community. It is more cost efficient for our community. And I'm very proud to serve with so many progressive judges. Last thing, we've started the process of implementing the MAC. The funding wasn't there, but we have voted and supported that to take away the inherent bias of choosing the defense attorney, because we don't choose the prosecutor. I think it was Judge Finch who said that, and I would echo those statements as well. And I see my red light. Thank you all.
All right, thank you so much. We
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate all of your hard work and dedication. Next, we have District Court 234, 234. Lauren Reeder, it's your time to speak.
Hi, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness. My 1-year-old's nap has been a little crazy, so you could see him on the monitor right here. You may hear him in a second. I'm the judge of the 234th Civil District Court. I was lucky enough and honored to receive y'all's endorsement in my contested primary back in 2018. I don't have a primary opponent this cycle, but I would really love and be honored to have your endorsement again. Some of the things that I've done over the course of the last 3 years: maintained and continue to employ a diverse staff. My court coordinator, my clerks, my court reporter, all diverse people of color, speak Spanish. Just a wonderful array that shows the complexities and the diversity of our community. I've also adapted during COVID, as all of our judges have, but continue to maintain safe trials when possible. One of the things I've also done, because I'm a civil judge, oftentimes we have large commercial cases that take weeks at a time and take jurors away. That can be really hard and sacrifices for those jurors' family. When we can and when it's appropriate for long cases, I have the parties and those lawyers increase the jurors' pay so that they end up paying the jurors more than their $40 a day and up to $100 or $200 a day for those longer cases on those large cases, so that folks, we can get more kind of a diverse array of jurors that don't feel the financial burden in ways when you need to be away from your job for a week or two for a case. I'm also, as y'all know, I had a baby during COVID, so family leave is really important to me. Obviously, all cases get automatically continued if they request one for family leave. I'm also, once we're back in person, one of the things before the pandemic that I've started trying to implement was having a really, really family-friendly court. So if you need to bring your kids to court because you don't have childcare, if you need to nurse or have a place to pump during a hearing or during trial, I make that accommodating in my chambers or in my anteroom because I understand how important it is for all types of folks to be able to come to work. And we all know that during COVID, our families are really, really strained. And so anything that I can do to make things easier, I do. So I would appreciate your endorsement again during this 2022 cycle. And I look forward to seeing you all more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge. All right, the next we have District Court 245, Tristan Longino, and I hope I pronounced that right. Are you here? Okay, so we're going to move on to Judge Hillary Unger, District Court 248. You have the
Hi,
floor.
everybody. Hi, thank you very much for having me here and hosting this. I thank you very much for your endorsement back in 2018, and I hope to get it again this year. I just wanted to echo a few things that my colleagues have said. We have made a seismic change when we came on the bench. When before we came on the bench, people were 5-10 minutes late to court. They were sitting either in the jury box, the penalty box, or their bond was forfeited for being 10, 15, 20 minutes late to court. Myself and all of my colleagues, that doesn't happen anymore. And more often than not, if somebody doesn't show up, the case will end up getting rolled to the next day, give their attorney an opportunity to bring them in. So that way they're not going to be penalized because maybe something happened or they had problems with transportation. The other thing I just wanted to also say, in all of our courts, mine included, we have, most of us have almost doubled the number of people who have successfully completed probation in every given year. There's a dramatic increase in that. No longer are people getting revoked for just minor technical violations, which was happening. But for me personally, the main reason when I became a judge and what I'm actually been trying to do is from the moment someone comes into my court, I try to get them hooked into different programs. I've been able to find people emergency shelter. I've been able to find people mental health programs, mental health problems early on before people are getting released from jail. When I want to give them a PR bond, get them 30-day supply of their medication to make sure that they don't run out in that interim and get them some help that they need. But I've been able to find people mentors while they were out. And there's a number of things. It's not just me, it's everybody that I came on with. That was our main goal, is there's a lot of people that have been going into prison that shouldn't be there, that have problems, and they're only in prison because they haven't been able to overcome those problems. Again, my name is Hillary Unger. I have a DA, pseudo DA as a primary opponent and a DA as in the general who's running against me, and I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Next, we have District Court 269, Corey Sapolio.
Did that perfectly. I appreciate it. Good to see our revolution. Thank you so much for endorsing me last time in my contested primary 4 years ago. This time, just as Judge Reader, I do not have a primary opponent, but the Our Revolution endorsement was such a badge of honor. Y'all endorsed me based on my progressive and labor background. And I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing now, because I absolutely would cherish a chance at the renewal. Since being elected, just as Judge Reader, several of us have taken on ourselves to use the power of the bench, so to speak, in large commercial cases to force the parties to supplement the jury pay. That's not appropriate when you have regular hardworking people bringing their cases in front of the jury, but in corporate cases, it's absolutely appropriate. I also use the power of the pulpit, so to speak, to make them buy the lunches for the jury. They get free lunches on the criminal side, not on the civil. Some of the other things we've done is, before I took the bench, there was 90% of the appointments in the court were going to non-minorities and non-women. Since that time, all the appointments in the 269th are now 90% minority and women appointments that I make, and 10% traditional appointments. When it comes to corporate type of cases, like the credit card cases where they sue people for being back on the credit card, or when they you have the J.J. Wentworths of the world trying to prey on young African Americans to sell their annuities at pennies on the dollar, or homeowners association cases, I send those cases to mediation, free mediation at DRC, or I appoint friends of mine to represent them. And finally, one of my happiest moments was when I instituted what's called the bats and paws. I told you I'd do it. I did it. Before bats and paws is a time to allow the lawyers to strike, to fight the strikes that were made for racially biased reasons. Most lawyers don't know how to do it. I implement a pause and show the lawyers when I think there's a Batson challenge. I do that from the bench, and I make sure that people have the right to serve on a jury, and we don't take that away based on who they are, what they look like. Corey Sapolio, asking for your renewal. Thank you so much. One other thing I wanted to say, and this is not about me, this is about the county courts. Manpreet Singh is on here. Manpreet and I practiced law together, Monica, and she and I both remember going to county courts before the Democrats took it, and it took 14 years to go to trial in the county civil courts at law. Jim Kovach and company have changed that. Thank you for taking that over, and I'll shut up.
Thank you so much, Judge. We appreciate your information and all that you do. Okay, next we have our treasurer, Dylan Osborne. You have the floor.
Thank you, Latanya. I appreciate it. Is my video not working?
We
One
don't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'm having some issues. Sorry. I'm Dylan Osborne.
There you go.
I was a member of this group before I ran, so a lot of you know me and know who I am. I was progressive before it was cool. Been fighting the good fight. You may have seen the news this week. We've announced a historic partnership with Unity Bank, one of the few Black-owned banks in the country. I like to say I'm putting our money where our mouth is. I'm trying to lead by example, I guess, but trying to find a niche for the treasurer's office to make a difference in the community. Trying to make it more customer service friendly and trying to make your government work better for you. I think that's very progressive. I have a lot of very progressive views, as most of you know, and I've been proud to be a friend and member of this group for a number of years. So I'm Dylan Osborne, I'm your county treasurer, and I hope to have your endorsement again. And I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate all the hard work and dedication. And next, we have our favorite, let's see, here we go. We have our favorite State Board of Education. I think she was with us before it was even cool too. Michelle Palmer, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Latanya. It is so great to have had the support of OR in 2020 when I ran for this position. This year is going to be a much more uphill battle because in redistricting, they made it a much more Republican district. But I'm going to fight every single step of the way, and I would love to have y'all support while doing that. I'm going to end up having to block walk all over half of Montgomery County because that's now part of my district. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make Montgomery County a few percent more blue. That's my goal for 2022. I'm a history and government teacher, as most of you know, and I'm running because we need curriculum that is full of facts instead of propaganda. We need science curriculum that includes climate change. We need comprehensive sex ed in our health curriculum. And we need history curriculum that actually believes that Black people had something to do with the creation of this country. We need to make sure that our students see themselves in the curriculum that they're learning, that our teachers are allowed to teach the truth. And I hope that you will help me in doing that. My opponent, the current board member, is a Shell Oil lawyer. And even though in 2020, before he was on the board, they voted to add climate change to the curriculum, he convinced them this year, once he was on the board, to remove that climate change science from the curriculum. So we really, truly need to get him off of there and to have a history teacher doing the job and making sure that history as it actually happened is taught to our students.
How about that? You're absolutely correct. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, and we always appreciate you. Now, let's get ready and let's buckle up. Our next person speaking will be Representative House District 135, John Rosenthal. You definitely have the floor. Is he not here? Okay. Did anyone want to speak for him or say a few words? Does he have anyone here? Going once, going twice, 3 times the chart. Okay, well, last but not least on my list, I have Penny Shaw, representative for House District 148. She's in the house and you definitely have the floor, my love.
Thank you, Latanya, and hello, our revolution fighters, both the organizers and the elected officials. It's good to be with you. I'm grateful you all put me in office this last session, and it was a wild year at the Texas State Legislature. As you can see by Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott's agenda, because they really do set the agenda, the tone at the beginning of the session, both with the Senate and the House, and they have their watchdogs making sure that their agenda is going forward. We need progressive members, OR members, endorsed members to be at the Texas Ledge because we had to fight so many fights this session. It was definitely a red meat session. We stood up against, and we're the minority, so we mostly are on the defense. We are trying to kill bills, time out bills, do whatever we can to stop harmful legislation from passing. We took a stand against the critical race theory bill, which is anti-critical race because it's saying you cannot teach all of history to our students. The anti-LGBTQ bills, the voter suppression bills, the women's rights bills, the workers' rights bills, the gun laws that passed, and so much more, in redistricting as well. So there was so much to fight for. It was worth the fight. That some of what we did was we broke quorum the first time on May 31st, which didn't get a lot of news coverage, but it was our first time breaking quorum and walking out of the House floor. And because of that, we were able to, the first time, kill the voter suppression bill, but also kill HB 14, which was a worker suppression bill. It was harmful to everyday workers. Unfortunately, that bill at least didn't come back. And I want you to be very proud of the people that you endorse and elect, because I can tell you the first 6 people to walk off the Texas legislature floor on May 31st were progressive, newer candidates, newer elected officials, and we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew we didn't want to be a part of what was about to go down. So we took our keys and left and just hoped and prayed that 30 more members would do the same thing that we did. So be proud of the people that you put at the Texas House, because I can tell you that the fabric of the new people that are being elected, we are bolder. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but they are bolder. We have more progressive mentality, and it's because of the work that you do. So I want to thank you. I was endorsed by you last time, and I hope to get your endorsement again. Some of the other work that we did, because I know we talked a lot about the defensive work we did, we spent 50 days and we moved the nation on this voter suppression bill. I spent 50 days out of Texas, and I would still be out of Texas if I needed to be, because for me, that was the worst attack on our democracy, because they attacked us all session long, whether it was women's rights, whether it was LGBTQ rights, whether it was worker rights, whether it was passing egregious laws like the heartbeat bill and guns for everybody bill. All of that stuff that they did, despite that, we still were able to make some movement, national movement, when we left, because it brought attention to the 18 states that had already passed voter suppression bills, and we were going down like dominoes, basically. So for me, again,
Thanks, Representative. We need to wrap it up.
Okay.
I was going to say, if you can wrap it up.
Just
She has
know
some
that,
great information.
yeah, just know that I would still be there if that's what it called for, and I hope to have your endorsement again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Penny. She always has some great information. Well, that's my list. I just want to say that I was in an information overload. There were so many progressive movements that everyone is doing, and I'm so excited for everyone. Thank you so much. And you are special. You are very special. So thank you. Congratulations on being a renewed endorsed candidate with our revolution. And that's something to say, because when you go out there, you can also tell people that you are associated with our revolution, Harris County, and that we back you. What? 100%. All right. Well, we're going to go to the next slide.
Latanya,
Jeremy.
before we move on to Q&A, I did notice
Okay.
that Judge Longino just joined in the
Oh, great.
call.
Yeah,
Can
and
we have him come on?
yeah, and thank you to Judge Graves Harrington for sending me the Facebook link. I have kind of stopped checking social media at this point. It's pretty toxic. So I didn't know how to actually get on until she texted that to me. But
You got
hello.
2 minutes.
Oh, all right. So I got the Our Revolution endorsement back when I ran in 2018 for the bench. Since getting to the bench, I've I think been a pretty progressive judge. I think that if you go to my website, longinoforjudge.com, I have a lot of progressive policies on there. One of the things that I think is important about re-electing Democratic judges to these benches in the family courts is that we have a lot of anti-LGBTQ policies that are trying to be pushed through in a very conservative state house, and some very harmful policies, including one of which that was going to be pushed through but did not actually get up for a vote, which was going to be something that would actually allow this state to classify providing hormone therapy to even just to delay hormones or to give hormone blocking drugs to delay puberty for children who were determining whether they were going to at some point transition, to give them that space to decide to do it and to qualify that even as child abuse. And that would then come to our courts to have to then decide whether the state should be able to remove parents who are supporting their children from those loving households. So it's important. I think the judiciary, as we've kind of seen, especially after the election shenanigans in 2020, has kind of stopped as acted as a bulwark against kind of the schisms we're starting to see and the fractures in society. And I know that some of these lower courts that are further down on the ballot sometimes don't carry the kind of weight and the import that the people who are setting the policies do, or that we're seeing for some of the issues that are reaching higher level courts in the federal government. But we still serve important functions. And
Can you wrap up, Judge?
Yep, we have power over people's families, their property, and their freedom. So the family courts are important courts, and it's important to have people who are forward thinking and progressive and can do stuff like this and increase access to those courts. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad you can make it. And Jeremy, was there anyone else we need to slide in from my list?
I think
That's
that
all I have.
I think that was everyone.
Okay. All right, great. Well, as I said, these are very progressive movements, and I'm very proud to say that these are our new endorsement members. All right. We're moving to our next. All right, so we got members' questions and answers. Now, to ensure all members have the opportunity to ask questions, please use the raise hand function and wait until you are called on. Now, I want to explain something. Our last meeting kind of went a little long, and that's why we're kind of trying to make sure things are done in a timely and a respectful fashion. So we ask that you just ask your question. Make your statement kind of short. We don't want you basically giving a full lengthy speech and then your question, because it gives not the person to answer the question enough time. So if everyone's clear on that, if you have any questions, this is the time to do so. And I'm gonna have Jeremy and Scott help me with that as far as determining who is answering the question and who will answer that.
So at this point, if you have a question, you can just go ahead, use the raise hand function. While we're waiting for that, we do have one question for Representative Penny Morales Shaw. Ms. Shaw, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jeremy.
So this question is regarding a vote from the last session, specifically regarding HB 17 and HB 4492. So in the last session, we noticed that you and many other Democrats voted for these bills. HB 17, which prohibited cities in Texas from locally banning natural gas, and HB 4492, which bailed out electric companies and protected them from lawsuits after the freeze. Can you help us understand the rationale of why you supported these bills?
Yes, and first I want to say I'm glad that you all are presenting the questions. It's always good to question us and to make sure that we're following what you all are looking for in us as elected officials. So HB 17, and neither of these bills are bills that we were pushing or wanted or co-sponsored or anything like that. There are issues that we take hard stances on and that we know are progressive values that we cannot waver on. Other bills, if we make caveats or they make concessions or we put things on the record to make sure that they are not doing exactly what they could be doing with the language of the bill, we feel better about voting for it. And when we're faced with those kind of bills at the Texas legislature, we look to the committees because the committees are the ones that get the bill and they hear all the testimony on it, and then those committee members vote. It won't even get to the Texas floor for our general vote if it doesn't get through a committee. So we look to our committees to see what was your analysis, and is this something that we absolutely cannot vote for, or is it something that we can make sure we get on the record to protect people and still vote for? Because we have to pick our battles at the Texas House, because we want to get things done for the people too. And if we are just hard line no's on everything, we won't get the cooperation or the votes that we need to do some of the progressive work that we want to do at the Texas House. So specifically HB 17, the controversy of that bill was, okay, you're saying that local governments or municipalities cannot pass ordinances that, ban natural gas from being put in. And our main concern was, well, does it stop you from incentivizing cleaner energy or for, rebates or other things that would open the door for clean energy to have basically equal access, mostly in new developments that are being built, commercial, residential. And we weren't able to get that amendment. The head of our Democratic caucus, Representative Chris Turner, moved for that amendment, and it wasn't voted in because the GOP-led legislature didn't vote it in. But he did make a record with Rep. Deschantel at the mic, and Deschantel was the one who authored this bill, and he's a Democrat. He authored the bill, and so he put it on record that this was definitely not intended to be a way to de-incentivize greener, cleaner energy. And so we felt that it was a bill that we could get behind as long as we knew that it wasn't shutting the door on greener energy. 4492, that bill, I was probably the loudest voice at Governor Abbott's office because of the Uri freeze and people getting these horrendous, huge bills that they couldn't afford, and just bringing them back to his office and saying, what are you going to do? You're the one who controls ERCOT. These people got a $10,000 bill or whatever, and they need assistance, and we need some of this funding to go to them. And we still have a bill that's pending in the interim right now to be reproposed again to make sure if there's more money to be had for consumers, we can get it. However, in one of the bills, we did get that in. It's sort of nuanced and hidden, but electric companies right now, because of us bringing up those issues, it is in one of the bills that we passed. It's one of the grid bills. So electric companies can now give people relief, even though it's way after the fact. This was almost a year ago. People can still ask their electric companies, send them a high bill and say, I paid this, I want my money back because this was during the Uri freeze. So some of that money did go there. We didn't like the idea of bailing out ERCOT. This goes back to the fact that we have privatized our system here in Texas many, many years ago. Sorry, it's raining. Sorry for the background noise. So we didn't like what he did, but the threat that they were making against us, people who were looking out for the people and not wanting consumers to have to foot this bill, was if you don't pass this bill, then what's definitely going to happen is that people are going to get a huge spike in their monthly bill. That's, there may be people who can't afford it. Like instead of having a $2 hike, or maybe it's less than that, they will have a $100 spike, and they'll have to pay that every month in order to continue to get services. And so it was the lesser of the two evils. They said that it would be basically these energy companies, when the Uri freeze happened, they also had huge debt, like in the billions. And so this is what the GOP legislature chose to do, was to pass that on to the consumers. We try to do it in the least harmful way, in a way that people could afford, whether it was 50 cents or $2, as opposed to $100 or so on their bill every month.
Thank you, Representative Shaw. Latanya, you see your hand is up. You can ask your question.
Yes, I have a question for actually a criminal court judge dealing with children and child support. I'm sorry, the Children Protective Services. When your child is taken away from you because of cannabis use, maybe they'll find it in the system and you're still going through the system trying to get your child back. Cannabis should be legalized now. You have it in some states where it is, and it's kind of silly and ridiculous for you not to have your children because there's THC in your system, What is being done about that? How are you handling those cases? And if you could just give me an overview, is there any judges on here that's willing to answer that question?
Is that really just a question for the family judges?
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know if the criminal judges put any kind of bond conditions that would preclude anyone from who's out from having any kind of access to children. From the family court's perspective, I view it as, I really kind of don't make much of a distinction between cannabis and alcohol. The question isn't whether somebody has any in their system. The question is it impeding their functioning while they are supposed to be caring for their children? So just because somebody has a positive urine or hair follicle test for marijuana, then I don't see how that is yet a relevant issue for whether that person is a fit parent, and whether that is rebutting any kind of fit parent presumption that that person is statutorily and constitutionally entitled to as a parent, as acting in the best interest of their children, unless some other evidence can show that they are not. So again, I fail to see the distinction at this point where we are in society and what we know about marijuana, how it's different than saying somebody has a couple glasses of wine at night after work. That doesn't make them a bad parent. The fact that they potentially consume THC, smoking, edible, whatever, it doesn't tell me anything about the quality or lack thereof of their parenting. I need something else to inform my decision on that.
Okay, thank you. And I had another question I would like to give to Representative Penny. 2019 was a horrible year for legalization and decriminalization of cannabis. For legislation session 2023, what is the plan to come up with better bills to get to the judicial committees so that once it makes the representative floor and the Senate floor that it can pass, because it has to be totally different than what we've been doing? What is the plan?
Well, first, let me say that we have over, I believe, right around 40 legislators that won't be returning. Hopefully, a lot of those are not, are the ones that have been against us legalizing the use of cannabis, but we don't know. We'll have to see how that all shakes out. Nonetheless, all of the bills that we can file to legalize the use of cannabis will be filed. To me, I feel more hopeful because this session we passed the bill for the study for veterans to be able to use psychotropics for PTSD. And so to me, that's and some experts as well have said this is a good sign for the future of legalizing the use of cannabis as well. And so I hope that that was a push in the right direction. We can piggyback on that, but we have to talk to obviously people like you, Latanya, that have been, trying to fight for this for so long, but other experts in the community for legalizing marijuana, decriminalizing it, all of that. I think it's going to happen in stages. It would be wonderful if it all happened at once. The medical use, increased medical use, and decriminalizing it, and recreational use. But it does look like it's going to happen in stages. Unfortunately, Texas isn't always the forerunner in progressive things like this, as we've seen with so many things, Medicaid expansion and so many other things. But we will keep fighting vigorously and join with those who have the most weight and say on these committees to persuade them. I mean, Joe Moody's really good about this, and he's been there a long time, and he's not going anywhere. And some of our other caucus leaders as well. And we can just keep fighting. Again, we're the minority, but if they can see that this has universal application and we can get it bipartisanly supported, then of course we have the best chance of it going through. And sometimes, you know, with this session, we even had to concede our bills being then adopted and carried by the opposing party, and just so that it could get through. And we're okay with that. Whoever wants to take the credit for it, we don't care. But if it benefits the people at the end of the day, then we're all for it. And that a lot of that happened this session with Democrats pushing for our progressive agenda, but that bits and pieces of it get in, our bills not going as far as we'd like them to, but then them getting adopted by GOP members and getting further along the process. So if that's what it takes to happen, I think all of your candidates and your elected officials are willing to do that. But it's a priority. It's something that Texas has, you know, been dragging its boots on. But we hope that this session, between this session and next session, we can finally get to celebrate that.
Thank you, Penny.
I also saw that Judge Brian Warner. I saw your hand up was earlier. Was there something you wanted to add to the previous question?
I think I said in the chat, but no one should be in jail for marijuana use. No one should have their bonds revoked for marijuana use. Nobody should have their kids taken away for marijuana use. I mean, I can make a distinction where if someone was in my court charged with an intox man or slaughter case where they were stoned and driving, and then I think there's exceptions to be made, but just as a general rule, I think that's not good public policy. I think, you know, every criminal judge on here will say that most family member assaults usually have something to do with alcohol, and can't remember one case in my career in 20 years where I've seen someone who's done anything violent towards another human being while using marijuana. It's just silly. Anyway, off the soapbox.
I have a question, and this kind of directs towards both these. I would like one of the civil judges and one criminal judge to please try to answer this. So judging from your responses, it seems like there's a lot of communication among y'all, especially those that practice similar laws. And it seems like y'all made a lot of accomplishments in these last 4 years that y'all have been in office. So much to where I have paid attention and none of y'all repeat it yourselves. So my question is, where do you go from here? How do you continue in pushing not only these policies, but also improving current problems that you're seeing? Again, I would like to open the floor for either criminal and civil judges from different perspectives. And I see Judge Toria Finch. You can go first.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the question. Where do we go from here? Right now in the county criminal courts, we're constantly studying the statistics and the data from what we've already done to figure out what areas do we need to improve, whether it's dealing with failure to appear, our appearance rates, whether it's dealing with anything that we've put into place, including bail reform. We're also taking a look at where can we go as far as new programs. What are the needs of the community? In my little short, fast-paced, 100-mile-an-hour conversation, I talked about us looking at restorative justice programs. There are needs in the community that are unique that we need to start focusing on. What will be preventive that allow people to avoid the criminal court system and or give them another path out of it if they happen to be in it without going through the formal process of adjudication, disposition, sentencing, and diversion. So there's a lot of room there. We're continuing to work with our law enforcement stakeholders and other justice stakeholders to figure out what do we do to fix the discovery issue, because we need to fix that. Because if we don't have discovery fixed, then the system is clogged up. I can go on and on, but there's so many other reforms that have to take place that haven't happened yet because we only have a short period of time to do it. But we do need to study what we have and continue to look forward towards the needs of the community.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Scott Dollinger.
Yeah, to echo Judge Finch is whenever you're implementing procedures and practices, you just have to be sensitive to constantly reviewing them and saying, what is working? The great tension in the civil arena is you have a civil docket where you're trying to bring cases to trial, and trials help settle cases in the civil arena because a lot of things get resolved, on the eve of trial. But what's frustrating for civil judges is you have a docket, you start calling cases to trial, and then you get this wave of continuances where lawyers aren't ready. And you don't want to drag a lawyer into the courtroom that's not ready. It's not good for the lawyer, the client, the merits of the case. But you just have to be steadfast and say, look, I need you to partnership with me in working on these procedures and being ready for your case, and know that this court tries cases. And if you need a continuance, don't wait till the last minute, right? That way we know where our docket is and whether or not we're going to be able to get a case in. Because when your docket craters, it's a 2-week docket, then your courtroom's empty for 2 weeks, right? You don't get a trial. And that's not good. So you just have to be diligent and look at your procedures, plus be approachable. Talk to lawyers saying, is this working for y'all? Tell me if it is or it isn't, or if it's a problem for you, am I making your life miserable for no good reason, right? And I'm not trying to make anybody's life miserable. I want lawyers to have a healthy practice and to enjoy what they do, but to be ready for trial. So it's there's always tension there, and you have to stay on top of it and just be a good manager.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Unger?
Yes, hi. The only thing else that I just wanted to add is that I know that I have spoken to the Restorative Justice Initiative in New York. There's one in Brooklyn. I actually know some people who work with that. And because I lived there for 20 years, that was something that was very interesting to me. And I really think it would help in Harris County. I know there's been some pushback, my understanding from the DA's office here, but I do think it will help a lot. Also, I know me and a lot of most of my colleagues were trying to reach out to different organizations to see how we can best get mentors for some. I mean, there's so many people that appear in our courts that are 19, 20, 18 years old. I'm over 50. They're all kids to me. And they need to get resources and need to get into a better place. And I've reached out to organizations, and I know recently, and since I've been running again, different organizations have reached out to me to say, hey, we would be very interested in mentoring some of the at-risk kids. And I think there's a great way that we can work with community organizations going forward and getting help for the people that are at risk and young.
Thank you, Judge Unger. Judge Carter, you're next.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Thank you, Our Revolution. I just wanted to follow up on the question and what Judge Dollinger was saying. We're working on some things in the civil courts that I think are coming along, starting off really great. One is implicit bias training. We've gotten that ball rolling. A lot of judges have signed up and taken the 6-hour courses. A couple of us have required. I know myself, Judge Sandel, I think Judge Kovach, and all of the civil courts at law have required that anybody that comes in seeking appointments, any lawyers, they take implicit bias training. And so we use our positions as a means by which we can educate the public and educate the legal profession, and we're having a lot of success doing that. And I think that if we'll see those programs continue, that's going to be a benefit. We're also incorporating implicit bias charge, a question or a discussion about implicit bias into the jury charge itself, so that issue can come up at the trial court level. I think that we'll continue to try to make courts more accessible. That's extremely important. One of the things on the civil courts that we're doing, and this has just come about recently, there's a need to have interpreters readily available on standby. And we're working with Commissioner's Court to get the funding and get that set up so that if any court over there needs an interpreter, more than just the court staff, I, like Judge Reeder, have a diverse court staff and have had one for many years and have people on staff that speak different languages, other languages. It's very important. I speak a little bit of Spanish and understand Spanish as well, conversationally. But at the same time, it's very important to have an official certified court reporter available people on call to be able to handle anything that may come up. And so I'm proud of the fact that we're getting that done. Another thing that we're working with Commissioners Court on is to have proper funding for court staff. And so we're improving the level of service that we're providing to the general public just at large. People haven't had a raise down at the courthouse, some people in over a decade. And so when you look at cost of living adjustments and I mean, everybody's seen their bills go up. There's a lot of people that have been career civil servants that have not seen a raise. And so we're coming together. In fact, we're working on presenting a new budget to Commissioners Court and look forward to hopefully getting some very deserving people a much needed raise. So there's a lot of things that we're working on in the civil courts, and it's all about improving the level of access and justice that we provide to the public and making sure that we take care of people that need it the most. So that's what we're working on. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. For the sake of time, we'll end with Judge Kovach.
Thank you, Jeremy. And Judge Carter covered a lot of the things I was going to say about implicit bias training and what we're doing going forward with making sure that we have people that we're appointing that represent our values in doing so. One of the things, unique to our court having the evictions is that, the COVID has shown us that Zoom works. And so that's something that I think we'll do going forward, because that saves a lot of people the ability to come to court while they're still watching their children at home or not missing work, just go to their car and come into the courtroom. So we're seeing an increased amount of people able to attend hearings via Zoom. So I think our courts will continue to use that. The other thing is under the Texas Eviction Deferral Program, and I have to give kudos to the Texas Supreme Court, which I don't usually do, is that they provided for in being able to, when somebody qualified for the rental eviction program, not only did we abate the case for 60 days, but the Supreme Court ordered us to seal the case and to seal the eviction case. And then I was able to order the Justice of the Peace Court to seal their case. And so that, when somebody's being evicted for non-payment of rent due to no fault of their own, but because of the COVID pandemic, it provided the opportunity to keep and save their credit report. And that's so important when you go to look for new housing or to buy anything, any interest rate on a loan. And so hopefully we can do, now that we have a progressive commissioner's court in Harris County, I'm looking forward to a lot more things that we can do in trying to stop evictions and slow them down and keep them off people's credit report at the get-go at the JP court level. And I know Steve Dubel put some things in there about what he has planned. And I know he met with Jeremy Brown, who's a former JP, who had great ideas about what to do, but there's so much more we can do, but we need to do it at the start at the JP court level. So I'll just add that in.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, y'all, so now it's time for the fun part of the meeting, the voting. So if you will take a look at the screen, you will see a QR code where you can use your phone to vote. And also, if you look in the chat, I also have a link to the ballot. Now, mind you, only members are allowed to vote. If you're unsure if you're a member, there will be instructions on the Google form as well. We will be double checking each ballot to make sure that only member votes will be counted. You will have until midnight tonight to cast your ballot, and we will share the results tomorrow on our Facebook page, or as quickly as we can, depending on how many votes we need to count. So I'm going to keep this up on the screen for a little bit longer so y'all can go ahead and look at my amazing QR skills. You'll see how I got the bird? I think it looks fantastic. I'm sorry to toot my own horn, but I think it looks fantastic. In the meantime, I wanted to thank all of our candidates who came to our forum. Thank y'all very much. This was a very informative session. I've learned so much on what y'all have been working on. And I think this was also a very good info lesson for our members as well. Just so everybody knows that this meeting will be recorded and it's going to be uploaded on our YouTube page, as well as it will be posted on our Facebook page as well. So if you did miss parts of the meeting, you can watch the meeting a little later today. Just a reminder again, the ballots are going to be open until midnight tonight. So please hurry up and vote. Moving on, let's go ahead and end this meeting. Chuck, can you take it from here?
I will try. I've got some pretty heavy duty rain, so I apologize if there's some background noise, but I will power through it as best I can. Please remember, we are very glad that y'all were all here. Please remember to join us at our next monthly meeting, Saturday, February 5th, 2 p.m. Standard Time. We look forward to seeing y'all there. We've got yet another one of these really cool QR codes, thanks to Jeremy's awesome skills. Hope to see y'all there, February 5th, 2 p.m. And as a reminder, we also have our Brazoria Fort Bend meeting on January 15th at 2 p.m. as well. Scott, did you want to give a quick blurb? I apologize, I'm blanking on what's on the agenda for the Brazoria Fort Bend meeting next week.
The next meeting in Brazoria Fort Bend will actually be our forum. So we will be endorsing our candidates for the primary ballot.
What I thought, I just wanted to make sure before I self a little bit there. But so hope to see y'all at that one. Please follow us on social media. We realize social media is getting hairy and hairier every day, but we would love to see some friendly faces there. So please follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, and our TikTok. We would love to see you online and promoting positive comments and positive vibes. Putting that out into the universe for us, our followers, and all good progressives. We very much appreciate y'all participating here today. Please make sure not to forget, don't get distracted, get your ballots cast for the members. We will be putting the results out tomorrow. So please get your votes in tonight. And we will have the results shortly. Thanks so much. Y'all be safe
and
dry.
One quick thing, because I know some people are wondering, for the candidates that have not been endorsed by our revolution before, we have your questionnaires. We're plowing through them. It is a ton of work. That is our next meeting, is your forum. If you are invited, we will ask you some more questions on Zoom, and then allow our members to vote on your endorsement. If you are invited, you'll get an email saying you are invited. If you're not invited, you'll get an email saying you're not invited. So there should be no confusion. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, and if I had this question asked, if you're a statewide candidate, there is a different process. I put the link for that in the chat. Statewide candidates are only going to be endorsed by Our Revolution Texas. So there've been a couple of people asking us. We're not seeing those races. So just to let y'all know.
And I believe the deadline on that questionnaire is tonight.
Oh, wow.
It's a good timing.
All right. Well, thank y'all again for attending our meeting. We wish y'all the best and stay dry in this rain.
Thank y'all. Stay dry. Be safe.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest
Be
of
safe.
your weekend.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
Bye.
Thanks for having us, guys. We really do appreciate it.
No, thank you all. It's really, really impressive.
Thank
I need to thank you guys because you inspired me. I feel better and more hyped up about what we're doing here now.
Y'all just had such smart questions, and yeah, it's refreshing to feel like voters are engaged, and I'm not surprised with our revolution, but thank you for having us. Wonderful meeting. Everybody be safe.
Bye, and guys, a huge congratulations to Pati for starting law school. I don't know if y'all knew that, but that's awesome for her. So
it's a wonderful journey. Good luck.
And if you want a Dolly
Congratulations to my wife.
refrigerator magnet, instant message me. I'll mail you one.
Thank you.
Ro's wife is going to run the world one day. This is what we all don't know. She's pretty amazing.
That's a really good idea.
He is.
I'd vote for you.
And Patty, I trust.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, take care.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Well, it
Thank you
looks
so
like I
much.
was congratulating everybody before we got a chance to vote. I guess I was just so excited. I apologize about that. But don't forget, everybody, go and vote. It will be emailed to you.
Will do.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hey,
Latanya.
hey, guys,
My
can I ask a question?
pleasure.
Nice to see
David,
friends.
go ahead.
Hey, can I ask a question? So if we are endorsed, are you going to have like a flyer that we can use and perhaps pass out and go block walking with?
Great question.
That is something we can definitely work on. I know we did that at previous election cycles and it was very helpful.
We got to do it, man. It's so informative, and I think the voters like it. And I'm ready to start block walking. It's time.
Well, we'll talk
another
about
thing-
that at our next Monday.
We'll
steering
definitely do a
committee meeting.
digital graphic, right, Jeremy?
Oh yeah, that's guaranteed.
Okay, but they want a flyer. So.
Yes, I know. And we had a last minute donor come in and finance that for us last
Okay.
time. So we would love to have it too, because I remember it was very effective.
So Scott, is
Especially
that
when
what
we were
need? We
handing
need
them
more
out
money?
outside the Bernie speech? That was perfect.
Yeah.
What was your question,
Yeah,
Dolly?
I mean, is that what we need? Do we need more money to be able to do it? Bottom line.
Scott.
Wouldn't hurt.
It definitely wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
Okay, there's your answer.
We're just gonna say yes.
Yeah. 4 digits.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
If you want to do a donation earmarked for flyers, we would be happy to accept that.
Stamp or your money would be fine. Just saying.
Just make sure you use the Our Revolution Harris County QR code when you donate that.
Indeed. All right. Take care, guys.
So
Good to
one
meet you.
more thing, guys, when you
Bye-bye.
guys go out and you talk and you promote yourself, make sure to tell them that you are a member and that if you're endorsed by Our Revolution Harris County, make sure you say our names, guys, because we support you, support us too. Thank
I mean,
you.
for me, if I get it, I'm going to put it on all the literature that I have and just go. That's what I
we're
use to pass
talking
out.
about.
And I do that for every single endorsement,
Thank you so much.
Right. Gives a union vote too.
Plus on
Bye.
Yes.
plus on website. Yep.
And I have now been through that process, Jerry.
Uh-huh.
The union process. That was educational.
I bet it was.
It's coming up next week for
Different.
judicials.
A little bit different.
Labor processes for judicials next week.
Yeah.
Double
It's
check
a
your calendar.
lot going on. A lot going on.
A lot going on.
I spent,
Yes,
I
sir.
spent, let's see, I guess maybe 8 and 8. Yeah, about 16 hours last couple, a couple of days ago, interviewing everybody, reviewing other people. So screening people. So anyway, you take
My
care.
screening
all right?
interview, I think, had 16 people from the unions in it.
Mhm.
So that was
Mhm.
impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Y'all have a
Thank y'all for
nice
that.
evening, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
See
good
you.
one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice to see y'all.
Bye. And yeah, Jeremy, get back in touch when you get a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna look through the list and I'll see.
I have a hunch I haven't made contributions, but that's another story.
What?
whether-
Shame on you, man.
Yeah,
Shame on you.
me. Yeah, right.
Make up for it now. Make your contribution.
We're going to start reading the names of people who haven't contributed just to see if that.
That'll go over really well.
Jerry, I would say go ahead and fill out the ballot because, like I said, we're going to double check whether you're a member. So it will be easier. So it's better you fill out and not be a member than not fill it out and actually be a member.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and do that. I did save it. I've got it on my screen somewhere. All right.
Jerry,
Take care. Good meeting,
Jerry,
guys.
can I make a suggestion real quick? So
What?
the AFL-CIO printer, authorized printer union list has improved dramatically. I remember when it looked like it was something that was copied in an office somewhere. So it's looking much, much better. I wanted to offer another suggestion to make it even better is if you could add a small map of Harris County with like the stars of where those folks
printers are.
Yeah, because I'm way over here on the east side and not interested in going to Westheimer and Highway 6.
Yeah. Well, I assume I may be wrong, but a lot of that stuff is done online anyway, that you send it, you send a file to them and they'll do the work, in terms
Yeah,
of
but then you got to
getting
go
it
pick it up.
I doubt that it's done, by hand, but
you may be working that way. So, but my guess is it's all done, it's all done electronically or digitally is my guess.
It's the pickup.
I didn't
It's
know
the
that, but
pickup.
I'm just, yeah. But yeah, I'll suggest it to them about that.
It's much
All right.
better work. It's much better work than other places, and the turnaround is super fast. We were really like,
Who did you
it
use,
costs
Maria?
more. I have to ask Paul because he
Okay.
ordered it, but because the cost was, more.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, but that's the way we wanted to go. And like, where are the
Well,
cards? But
If you got good service,
The cost is more because you're actually paying living wages to people.
Yeah.
who work.
well, I know exactly. Yeah, God forbid. Okay,
goes
so
in good
the
hands.
union bug is so fine print that I literally can't.
Right.
Okay, I'm showing my age. I don't know. I can't read.
Right.
Anyways, it's too tiny. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, anyways, he was like shocked. They came back so fast, but the quality is fantastic.
You have to make
I'll
sure
share
that the right bug. There are some people who are putting out false bugs there, and we're really conscious about that. When someone comes to interview us with a false bug on their literature, boy, they get flagged so fast you have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he got the referral at a union meeting. So
yeah, that's good.
that would help too if they would put a list on the website of false bugs. Because like I'm pretty sure my campaign store is a false bug, but I can't prove it. I don't know.
The number is that there's a number that appears usually on the bug that indicates whether it's whether in fact one of the
God, I can't even read it.
Well, yeah, well, there's a problem with that. You're not the only guy who has the problem. I can't use magnifying glasses even. But anyway, so yeah, there's just the ones that are on the list. They're both. I think the list I've seen, which is old, was both Houston and Austin printers, but there may be others. And if Chuck says there's new ones out there, that's great because they were using an old list. But those, I don't know if they put the number on the list. I'll have to go look at the list myself because I haven't looked at it. But anyway, so I'll check.
I used J&N for the business cards. They were pretty good.
I'm using my phone to magnify. It says Allied Printing, Union Label, Houston, Texas, Trades Council 11.
11.
Yeah, and
Allied Printing.
I don't have them memorized, so I can't help you out. But
Yeah.
Allied Printing is generally one of the ones that is a union printer. But again, just check the list, and you can. The list should be pretty easy to get to. Anyway, so
Right there, Carroll Printing should be number 11.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you all for checking up that. We want to support our labor members. They make significant contributions to campaigns. Just saying. When they like you, they make significant contributions to campaigns. So it's a good thing to stay involved with. But it's not as straightforward as this is. They've got some procedures that they use to make decisions, and sometimes they make new procedures to make new decisions. I was in meetings that they did that with, like, oh really? Okay, gee, we're doing that now. So but they've got an agenda that they're following. No surprise. But anyway,
Real quick,
yeah.
Jerry. Does either Jeremy or Scott or Ruth have your contact information that they could send to me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
I need to talk to you later.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. I'll
Thanks,
go back
y'all.
to voting now. All right. Take care.
Oh yeah, I gotta vote too.
Oh, and Maria, thank you for that awesome background.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was thought maybe it would be helpful.
Keep your head over the national side.
I know my head's too big. That's why I was like, so with the voting for our anything, should we wait or go ahead and just vote?
Oh, go ahead and do it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say do it now because chances are you may forget later.
I actually kept notes on paper.
Studious.
Nice.
I'm learning.
All right, well, y'all, this was a nice little post-meeting chat. Thank y'all for joining. We'll see everybody next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Jeremy.